Hello. So today, on. Hello, my name is Tucker, and I'm going to be drawing Happy Hour. I said I was going to be doing it in the last video, and I don't think anyone watched it, but that's okay. I'm not really doing this for views or whatever. I'm also doing this to help myself draw better and to learn, and hope that others want to learn from it too. I go into great detail of how I drew it, what I use, and how to approach it. These are some of my early works. I was looking at it and I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't drawn this in forever. But um, right over here is Happy Hour rolling and whatnot. And yeah, you can see all my old artwork. You can find the comic, and if you look at Tea Basket's art on Meaty Bank, or you follow my Facebook. But yeah, um, you can always friend me. I don't care. I'll just add you, and then I may or may not talk. Usually pretty busy, but yeah. I was looking at this and I was like, I drew all this in paint. That's right. No layers, just all done in paint. And it was one of the hardest things I'd say I did, because I did it, most of it using a mouse. And then eventually I got the little tool and then I started using layers, but believe me, all this is done in paint. I used the color pencil tool, and I noticed it didn't always go over the lines, which was nice because I could do some shading with it, and it was very handy. I was thinking if I should do this video in Mediabang or if I should do it in Paint. It's been a while since I drawn in Paint. Paint is very hard to use. Um, like I said, there's no layers in Paint. In fact, you know, I might just do that. Eh, let's just do Paint so I can show you guys how hard it was and how long it took me. Now, I do have a pen tool. Like I said, I did this mostly with a mouse, especially this one. And believe it or not, this was my first one. I used some lining, and it just took me so long to do all this. But as I can say, I'm going to be drawing Happy Hour, and I noticed I changed the color of his pants as I progressed on, and I think that's funny. It was like I forgot the color of his pants. Or I was going to do this color, maybe it got too complicated, and I was like, instead of doing that, let's just make it white. I don't know why I did that. It was I always planned for it to be like some sort of gray, but I guess the color scheme kind of worked better off that way. Um, it's just very interesting. And he's always wearing khakis and shoes because he's kind of based half off of me, so we'll see. Alright, we're gonna use paint. No layers. Now, paint is just. This is the tool I was talking about. See how I can still see the lines underneath? Yeah, that's how I originally did it. And then, eh, as you can see, the eraser pain in the butt. It's actually better to take a brush, thicken it, and then go white. Oh, If you right click, you use the white. But this was very. This is going to be very challenging um, to redraw my character in Paint. I'm going to aim for an hour. I've done these videos before, and sometimes they take 2, and I don't want to take 2 this time. And I said that last time, and it took almost 2. Yep, here we go. So, I just need a good idea of, like I said, you always should use a reference. Even if it's your own character making, you should use a reference to understand what you're using. So, these were some of the guards. Happy Hour, he has orange on one side, and I know he has black and orange on the other. So, because I made him, but all I really needed to know was which side the orange was on. And see, now I've drawn him 2 different ways. I can be like, oh, he has guns, wears gloves, his fingers kind of show through, his hair is kind of spiky. Uh, you can see where the mask line comes across. You can see his ear. Um, I can see his shoes. I can see page 1. But yeah, his pants can be gray or white. I think I like this, but if I remember correctly, I did that for shading. So like the light comes from the door because it's really bright outside, and it just goes on to his jacket. His jacket casts a shadow, and then he casts this shadow, which casts the shadow over his leg, and then I did some complicated shading over here. But I think I'm just going to make his pants dark gray. I like this schematic, but I think I continued with the books. In the book I made, I think I continued with his pants like this. So, first design, second design. I think I'm going to go off of second design because second design is my most current. As you can see, theirs is orange and black side of his mask right there. So he's all making the smiley face. And his face is very expressional. So um, it's funny because it's just his mask. So his mask is very expressional. And I kind of like doing that. This one he's just kind of like, I'm here, calm and oriented. And then the next one, he actually does it. So, oh, did I exit out? I exited out. Oh boy. I exit out of my reference. I think it was page 5. Yep. Alright, so we're going to use this scheme. I'm going to help myself with this for posing. So, boop. Alright, here we go. Paint. Paint is a pain in the butt. That is what paint's do. Okay, let's zoom out. What's nice about this is I can use the mouse and my board at the same time. And there's like a lot of useful scenarios with that. How many pixels do I want? Yeah, this is good to know too. If you do, I think it's like 800 by, or at least this is what I used to make my last book, by 1200, and you can use those pages for books and whatnot, and it'll fit pretty dang close. You can also resize them, but I think, yeah, I think I'll do this just to get used to doing it. Now, my screen, I don't know if you guys noticed, but my on my end, my screen is really, really wide. So everything's wider than um, how it is on everyone else's screen. Alright, before I waste too much time talking, I'm going to continue on. Now, I like this because it's good for gesturing and whatnot. I gotta figure out what I want in the scene before I even draw the scene. Like, it's very complicated because you're like, what do I want to see? Well, let's see, buildings or because he can fly on his happy, on his smiley face. It's funny, and that smiley face is pretty interesting. Ability he has, but yeah, just just to get something out of the way, I'll just draw him in an alley, and I'll just throw some lighting as I go. So we're just gonna go, and I can't remember, but yeah, there's things and there are shortcuts to help you get straight lines. Let's see. I think if I hold shift. Nope. That's okay. Or I think you actually have to use the line tool to get straight lines. We're not gonna do that. I'm just gonna draw it. So, just gonna go boom. Close enough. And we're just gonna move the page over a little bit. There we go. So I have two references to my character. Close enough. Just gonna do, yeah, we'll do a brick wall. Why not? Yep. It's like, oh no, what you doing to yourself? You're you're you're, you're making this much harder than you really have to. Basically, that's all I do. Yep. And as funny as this always, as things get taller, they kind of curve. And it's like, it's not. Huh. Alright. Throw our bricks in. And I'm gonna be too strategic. Like I said, this is just a background. Because you should start with a background first. But it's good to know how to do this, and this is good practice. I wouldn't suggest um, using things like Photoshop and stuff for your art style, um, because this actually makes you work and think about it ahead of time. This is what I wanted to get a point across is, um, Photoshop and Meaty Bang have tons of shortcuts. And the less shortcuts you have to making something, the more better you are going to get at your lining and your thought process. Like, my lining doesn't have to be super perfect, um, because I'm not caring about um, what it looks like. I'm not going for that realistic feel. Not yet. And I definitely wouldn't do it in uh, paint, but I suggest you give it a try for practice. Like, I would try to get something to look as real as I can using this program for good practice reasons. Like, try drawing the tree in here, and I also draw way differently because I don't have the layers, right? So I literally gotta try to visualize it. But yeah, I've heard all good things. And yeah, I can straighten out these bricks as I go on. Having that not so caring personality. But things work out the same. Yeah, having that not so caring personality really helps just to get started. It's like, what do I do, bro? And it's like, oh yeah, I know what to do. I just do this. And let's look at our reference. Just want to look at that crazy guy hair. Alright. I didn't even realize you can edit on this program. I don't know why you would want. Oh, that is definitely not what I want. Well, that's wonderful. Exit. Exit. Zoom. And then. Yay. I just want to get. Okay. He's got some crazy hair. And then it's just like that. Okay. Here we go. Now, I do it way differently back then because I just started off with hair and I started off with shoes. We're going to do this a lot quicker because I know what happy hour looks like. I know his shapes. So, we have his shoes. And let's see, what kind of pose do I want him to? So, since this is, looks like I'm aiming for a front view. Yeah, why not? I'll aim for a front view because all those are side views, right? So, I'm just gonna break him down. I feel like this is cheating because I have a brick background and I can kind of use that to help line up happy hour. But I don't have to because I'm going to show you that I really am breaking him down. So first I'm going to draw his shape. There's his pants. Yeah, just kind of goes in. He has a side pocket here. Doop. Has his leg here. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really like that pose. Happy hour wouldn't just stand there. He's got a wall. So why don't we use the wall? Just like boop. Yep. And this is the worst part about paint is you decide, oh, I want to do something differently. Nope. But I am, because I'm a brave soul. So he'd probably lean against the wall. probably go back. So, and there's a shoe. It's going back. Probably up higher. And this knee is going to block a lot of the view. I forgot how crazy this was to do. Now, you're just going to carry the arm. And it's just going to loop around. Because he's weird. He might cross his arms. Or he might do something funky. Happy hour. Crazy, happy. Yep. He's just gonna chill. Right there in the back alley. Because when he chills, it just looks funny. I mean, he has this creepy smile on his face. And you know what? That's fine. So we're just gonna loop around. And loop around. And boop. And he's very skinny, so has big pants. And then he has his neck and his mask. It's like, yeah. Then he has his hair. But it's all behind the mask. And then we're just gonna do his eyes. There's one eye. There's the other eye. And then he has this line that goes down his head. And he's got this smile. And there we go. That's a great start. And his jacket just kind of goes where it goes. This one's gonna hang. He's pretty relaxed, so jacket's. We're gonna say the jacket just kind of hangs off there. Now that this looks pretty rough, but this is literally like probably one of the fastest quick starts to a position I have ever done. So, and believe me, working on happy hour was really hard when I first started, because this book here took me 5 years. And it was just like planning out everything was probably the hardest part. So, for sure. And my drawing has changed a lot since then. So, see if I do better or worse. So, knowing he faces that direction, that side of his face is orange. And that's how you get good reference. This is why I used to like drawing in paint. It's because this to me feels like pencil. And I used to like that. The problem was, is that is as small as the brush gets. And that's not good because then it gets really. Let's see, what kind of expression should he have? That's true. Like, I should probably get very expressional. He's just he's just happy. Yep. His eyes get to change. And I don't see why he wouldn't. So he has like the ability to like alter metal and objects. So yeah, I was thinking about his power. I'm like, how does his power work? He's pretty OP, but at the same time, he's not really as OP as you think he would be. So I mean, he can't teleport, but he's moving at already an abnormal speed, so everything seems slow through his eyes. And in orange. Boop. I was just gonna go with black. It has a ragdoll feel. But yep. Now this is where color and theory is really handy, because and you can mess around with shading. So like, now I should probably color the wall, but we'll do that later. Boop. It's an interesting angle. I feel like you'd see its ear right here somewhere. So let's add some ear. Yellow. Is this thing recording? Yeah, it's recording. Okay. Oh yeah. One of my favorite colors. Yeah, there we go. He's got kind of a peach tone. Yeah, you just lose a lot of detail. Like I said in the last video, you lose a lot of detail due to just smallness of things. Like, this is my favorite brush, and yeah, it's a pain in the butt. But, like, oh my gosh, it just takes so many pixels, and you know, you're only given so many pixels, so kind of point those out. Yep, kind of give him a side angle because his head's kind of tilted. And go down on here. And boom. And his mask, again, is black. This is very hard because I've been doing this in like an hour. Zoom out. Forgot how to zoom out using the pencil tool. Going back to the mouse. Dun, dun, dun. Oh boy. Okay. Alright. I feel like I've already lost so much time. Well, then again, these used to take me a long time anyway, so. Yeah, it's a lot of work. So, we're just gonna do the building red. If I could do it like that, or I could continue using this brush. I think this brush helps fit the art style, so I might just keep using it, but it takes longer to do this part. Haha. So this is where thinking ahead is pretty brilliant. Boom, 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 boom. But, you know, over here on this side, we're going to make it darker. So we're just going to use a darker red. Because alleyways are kind of weird. This will allow... Oop. For now. Then I gotta go in here and fix it all. And then just and then go boop, boop. Just take that red, go back to our bucket, and just boop, boop, boop. Alright. That's a pretty good start. These would take me way longer. Alright. Just to play around. Let's. Nah. That looks pretty nice. But, what can I do for shading? Do we like the whole ground? That actually looks more natural. And then we're just gonna go. do a whole, yep, because that's about where the shadow begins, so, and just be like, boop, oh, undo, boop, there we go. I forgot how long the picture is. So he's got lots of ground. You start like this, and then you're like, oh, I have all this space over here. That's okay. You're just like, there's a da, 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 da. Oh, he's probably gonna get stretched when I'm finished. But yeah, he's got kind of gray tone to his pants. Sorry, he has this dark shoes. We're just gonna draw his leg. There's quite a bit of detail. That's fine. Just gonna see how much I can add. Gotta watch my perspective. Here, let's go into a lighter dark. So you can still see his lining. And then his shirt is like, I think it's this nice gray here underneath. Now, this is going to be super hard to play with because, like I said, I only have few pixels and this is paint. So, but I'm not saying paint's bad program. You're kind of limited on the way you can approach things, which is okay. And he has a collar. I almost forgot he does have a collar. I should know this. I made him. And he is a badass. So, and we're just going to go in here. There we go. And shading. But yeah, the jacket. Boom. Boom. His arms are actually behind him. That's okay. Kind of like that view. So. Alright. And I like using that eyedropper to get back to the color I last used. Eyedropper is pretty handy for those kind of things. Yeah, this is how I did happy hour back in the day. So I would use paint. I didn't have the pencil tool. Pencil tool helps so much now. And when as you read further in that book, you can tell when I get the pencil tool. It's like, oh, this looks a lot better. um, or maybe not, oh, it looks a lot better, but oh, it has more to it. But yeah, and I originally used paint. So just like this. And yeah, thinking ahead can save you for sure. I find um, not designing the book itself easier because all I gotta do is design a scene and just kind of draw it out. Yeah, I should probably be using smaller strokes. But there we go. For the lining, just to get that smooth lining. That's okay. Because I figured out what I was drawing. I think it just takes a long time to figure out what you're drawing before you even start drawing. Yeah. That's how I did Happy Hour. And literally the background is probably going to be the longest part of it. So. And shading's going to be really over here. So. Hmm. and there was just always a crap ton of cleanup that I never had time to deal with. So, especially when I was making that book. So, I was just like, I need to get something out there so people can see. And so I never really cleaned it up. Eventually I'm going to. But for now, I'm just kind of trying to get noticed. Yeah, it's hard. So, and we're going to zoom in here and just be like, we're actually going to take the whites and just put some shine. And we're going to do just a little bit just to play with it. So now he has some shine to his face. And we're just going to go in here, make that mask. Boom. Yep, this is how I did things back in the day. That's a trip. Still kind of do things kind of similar, but different. There we go. You just gotta be very careful. Oh no. Now that's another thing. Tools don't always work, so. Alright. Overall image. Looks alright. And how much time is left on the video? 12 minutes. Oh boy. So as you can tell, it takes me... I'm starting to learn that everything takes me about 2 hours. So... But I think I'm gonna stop at an hour. So from here, I have my character. He looks alright. I'm just gonna touch up on everything else. So, yep. And we're just gonna enlarge the brush for bigger areas. See, I like this because it actually feels like drawing. Which is why I used to love this tool. And I still kind of love the program. So, like I said. It's always hard to attempt this sucker in an hour. Like every time I've attempted anything in an hour, it's been really rough. This is why I use Meaty Bang now, because I have the layers to deal with, and just makes everything easier. But you can do a lot in Paint, so like if I wanted to reposition him, I probably could do that in Paint. It'd just be a lot harder. So. Like, I'm glad I repositioned him earlier, otherwise, it took hella time. Might actually do it in an hour. Oh my gosh. Finally. Good God. Yeah. And I somewhat broke down his pose, but yeah, that's where getting the shapes kind of right really helps you. In the beginning, I was just like foot, arm, leg, uh, arms, jacket, and then I did mask almost last. I did the hair actually last because in reality, you're going to see the mask first, then you're going to see his hair, then you're going to see his hair. But yeah, I had the background first. If you can, do the background first. You know, it just lays out everything for you, but know if you're going to be drawing in paint and you do that, you're going to have to erase things. But yeah, that's why it's better to design it out and be like, I'm drawing this figure as soon as possible. Yeah, I know I'm just kind of working on the wall, but I feel like making the wall and stuff adds to the picture. What I like to do is see how his foot blends in with the shadow. I like to take this dark, which isn't exactly the same color, and just kind of show where his foot's at. So you can actually see the shoe. I don't know. Sometimes I'll turn it up, just be like, I want to see my guy's foot and separate it from the shadow. You know? Even though reality, it just kind of gives into the shadow. But yeah, I want to see things that are there, just so you can be like, oh, this stands up. This is how I know where his foot is. How I know where his leg kind of ends. How I know where his jacket is, and this is how I know where his arm wraps around. And then you can do the same thing for. That didn't come out very well. Ah. There we go. Is that my smallest brush? Yep. So I gotta hit it just right. and we can make the shading for the background a little bit different. There we go. Therefore, your eyes can separate what is actual shading, what is actually him. Now, this is the part where you play with realism, because in reality you can still see shadows, right? Just, and then you can see his knee forming a bit better. This shit is really hard. Oh, I swore. This stuff is really hard. That is what you heard. And then I pointed it out. Okay. Oh, I think I got pieces checked. Nope, we're good. There we go. But you know, I feel like his arm needs more curve. There we go. And we can go in here and just slow work this guy. He needs that. Let's go in here again. Ah, too bright. And it just added to his hair. And here you can just go boop. At this point, I'm just adding extra details until video is done. Oh well. Well, I actually made it in an hour. And I could keep adding to him and whatnot, but that's how I did it in Paint. And yeah, I used two different styles here, but you can't imagine how long this took me. Like, I crossed those lines, I went in and did it over and over and over again. I squared off that. I squared this off. I did the doorknobs. I did the smiley face. I put the little holes. I did the shading over here. I made it so you could see the shading within the holes, and it was just nuts. And you can tell that I erased some of the lining, like I was kind of doing in here. I was just going in, fixing it, darkening certain areas, and eventually, like, I got tired of doing that, and as you can see, because it takes so much time and you lose just so much um, detail, that I was just like, alright, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, done. Do this, 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 done. Do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And believe me, each one of these frames took a long time to do, because I was just like, pew, pew, pew. And then when I was like, alright, I've been working on this scene for like a days and days and days. Eventually, I'd be like, it's done. And I think I even added more once I transferred these things to Meaty Bang. I started using layers and doing things a bit differently, but even then, you can tell where I was getting tired. Yeah, I just wanted to show how much work it actually takes, and I think I did a good job at showing like how long it really took me to do all that. So you can see I got to this point, and even then I got to that point, and I just got so tired because this is on about the same size canvas. I actually think this is on the left is a smaller canvas, so I lost a lot more detail, and I did them in each frame, so it was really, really, really rough. Um, like trying to do that, and especially with this kind of brush, it's like really big and bulky, and you know, and when I did this, I used multiple tools to do that. I used the line tool on the mirror. I was like, screw that, just boink, 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 and I just painted that in. I was like, give me this pencil, good, good. And you can see where that was coming together, like right in there on the leg. But yeah, pretty rough. Um, Thank you for watching, and hope you enjoy the video. Um, please subscribe if you want, if you enjoy them. If not, don't even worry about it. I'm going to be making more using different techniques, and you can learn from it. Like if I can do this in Paint, doing it in Photoshop is a piece of cake. So, um, good way to practice. Now you know how to practice. If you want to even get better in there, just use the mouse, because using the mouse forces you to zoom in like this and then work. That's how I did a lot of the things. I'd start in, and I would actually go in here and just and until, and it was really nuts. And then I'd go into it and be like black, and then I would be like, well, this needs this kind of gray, and then I would go back and I would just go back to my pencil and just, and it, believe me, was a lot of work, but then I would lose my blends. So, and you could do this to the whole thing, but then you're gonna lose your blending work. That's what I don't like about this pen tool. Is use a lot of the blending, and that's the smallest lining you can do, and you can go into pixel by pixel and just kind of add them at different furries of gray, pixel by, and you would do that. And when you zoom out, you get about what you were looking for. But oh my gosh, that takes forever, and it makes the whole picture look completely different. So if you're going to use a style, I suggest sticking to one. So, yep. That's why I kind of, once I'm sticking to that brush, I'll stick to the brush, and I'll go in there and make it all with the brush. So it fits in with the style. I guess next time I'll show you how exactly using different brushes can change the style of the drawing and whatnot. Like, my favorite tool is definitely that pencil tool because you can do a lot of shading and fluctuating, go in there, have fun, and I think it looks nice in some areas, but it gets really hard. So, yep. Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe, and I'll show more things, what you can do all on Paint, and I guess what you can do on Meaty Bang. I like both. Um, I prefer Meaty Bang just because it has the layers. I like Paint because it has my favorite brush just sitting there. I could probably make that brush in there, but this one just kind of is there. So, yep. And take it easy. Alright. We're going to save. We're going to stop the video. And I'm going to save all my